Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll get started in about 30 seconds. Just going to give everybody else time to log in. Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the August 2019 release, which is also release 110 webinar. My name is Kim Herron, and I'm a marketing manager with itslearning. I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items first. Please feel free to submit questions in the questions pane throughout the presentation, and we'll be sure to get to as many as possible before the end of the webinar. Also, please note that we'll follow today's presentation with an email message and further details about the release 110 or 2019 release. I'd like to introduce our presenter now. Andrea Winters is a project manager and implementation consultant with itslearning and brings a wealth of product knowledge and experience to today's presentation. I'll now hand things over to you, Andrea.
Hi, thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. Before we get started with the bulk of the information, I do just want to remind you that not only will Kim be sending out additional information, like she said, following this up in an email, but this webinar is just designed to kind of give you an overview. And if you need more information, you can always contact your project manager, and we have those emails and information at the end of the webinar. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing that we have, our new item this month for back to school, is a mass messaging feature. So with our internal messaging feature, what you can do now is administrators can now send messages to an entire organization. So for example, a principal can send something to a whole school. Somebody at the district level can send a mass message to the entire district with one little couple clicks of a button, and that way everybody will get the message in their message pane. Also, if they have the app downloaded and push notifications enabled, they will also get the message that way as well. So there's a couple of things though that have to happen. This is a sysadmin setting, and the messages are also kept in our sysadmin setting so that you have a record of all of the messages that you sent within your organization. And you will also be able to send mass messages to specific groups of people. So if you want to just send it to teachers or send it to teachers and students, you can do that as well. So as we said, this is a sysadmin setting. So system administrators will need to enable this setting in the sysadmin console. And so this obviously will be turned off until the sysadmin has gone in and set the settings to allow people with the administrator role in the site to send mass messages to either their entire site, and don't forget that site is the whole district, or to just their school. And then when that site is set, that sysadmin setting is set, then mass messaging will be enabled only for those people with the admin profile or the sysadmin profile. Next, for our higher education customers and our virtual schools, we have been working on our attendance. So now we have a easier, more quicker way to take attendance within our system. And if you would like the full documentation on this, please contact your project manager. We can send you the full documentation on this with how-tos and handouts and whatnot. But very quickly, you can see that you can go into your attendance pane, and you can click for each individual student. Or if you go in through the calendar pane, you will then get a list of your students, and then very quickly you'll be able to just put a check next to each one and say who was present and who was not. You can also now say who was absent for a certain number of minutes. So if somebody comes in late, you can say that they were only absent for 15 minutes. So that acts kind of more like a partial absence in our system. And then, of course, the new attendance system will allow administrators to export this attendance data to a CSV file, and therefore you can manipulate the data in Excel or import it into an additional system if you would like to. Next is an update to our mobile app, and now our discussion boards are now more mobile friendly. So you can see that when your students access a discussion board through the app, it now is in an appropriate layout that is easy to see on mobile devices, and they can participate in discussion boards through the mobile app a lot easier, and they can see all of the necessary clickable items where they can start a new thread, or they can mark it as read or unread, and they can also submit an answer or a discussion through the mobile app as well. Now, we've had several upgrades to our G Suite and Office 365 integrations. And so the first update is that now you will be prompted to either upload a file or to embed the link. Well, what's the difference? One of them is static and one of them is live. Obviously, if you embed the link, it then creates the ability to have that almost like a live document with all the updates. If you upload the document, any changes that is made on either the uploaded document or in the cloud version is not reflected in the other version. So you'll need to decide whether or not you want that to be a static or live, depending, and that will depend on whether or not you upload the document or embed the link. This also requires a sysadmin setting, but I believe that the majority of our customers have this setting already set in the sysadmin for the other features and functionalities for our Office 365 and Google integrations. This is the setting that will need to be set on the SharePoint side that will allow our users now to upload documents from SharePoint. So we know that we've had Office 365 has sharing permissions, and if I uploaded a document from my OneDrive and shared it with somebody, when my 365 account goes away, that document goes away. So most districts now are sharing those documents using SharePoint. And you can now share those documents, those SharePoint documents in itslearning, as long as your Microsoft 365 admin console allows for that. So this is something that the district administrator for 365 would need to add that setting in the 365 console that will allow documents from SharePoint to be shared. And then this is what you'll see. You'll notice on our side, when you embed the document, you can select the document then from 365, and you can either upload a copy. This upload a copy then would be uploading the document. That would be the static document, like we said before. If you do not check that and you add it, you're uploading the live link, and then therefore any changes would be reflected then if the document was updated. And now you have the ability to switch between your personal or private accounts and your school accounts. Also, just wanted to make a little note that this is a district admin, sysadmin setting. Some districts do not allow personal accounts to be associated with district softwares. So just make sure that this setting, if you don't see this ability, that this is something that the district may allow on their sysadmin settings, or they might not want you to attach those personal accounts. So just know that this is something that could be restricted based on the philosophies of our individual customers, districts. But you do have now the ability to have both a personal and an educational account attached for both Google and 365, and it will allow you to switch back and forth. So for example, if you wanted to add something very quickly that was saved in your personal drive and not in your 365, it would give you the ability to switch accounts and not have to disconnect, but be able to switch back and forth from those accounts. And so after the sysadmin gives the permission for 365, you will need, most of the end users will have to accept the user agreements to be able to have those accounts attached then to itslearning. And so when you add something then from 365, you will see that you have your OneDrive option or you have your SharePoint option. And so this OneDrive is your educational account OneDrive, not your personal OneDrive. And then your SharePoint educational account, and you'd be able to switch things back and forth. I know that we are talking about this with 365, but this, the ability to share things in Google with shared drives is the same way and has the same, and that was released a few releases ago. So if you have a shared drive in Google, you now see the same thing up there from your shared drives or from your personal drive. So that is more consistency that we have between the two cloud drives. And so you can add things from a SharePoint from a team site, but you cannot add things from a SharePoint communication site. It would only be able to share documents and things that have been uploaded to a SharePoint site, not a SharePoint communication site. And now when you go to add a document from Google Drive, you will notice that your most recent documents or items that you have accessed in Google come up there, whether it's a Google Doc or Google Slides. It will come up there in like a most recent files, hopefully to help you navigate to those documents a little quicker when adding them into itslearning. A few other things. Hopefully this will be super exciting. I hope everybody has had the opportunity to already see our new homepage with our course cards and the ability to add friendly names to courses so that you don't see those crazy master course titles there. It can be kind of long, so teachers have the ability to add the friendly names, but now on this homepage, you will now have the ability to search for your courses. So for most people, their course list isn't very long, but there are some users that are enrolled in several courses as teachers or as or even as students. And so the ability to search those courses if you have multiple course cards is definitely something that I think will come in handy. And here, don't forget that not only that's where you would change your friendly name, but you now can also change if there's multiple teachers assigned to that course. You can also say which teachers do you want to have their pictures show on the course card, all teachers, or just one teacher. You have that ability now as well. This is only with obviously people that are assigned as the role of teacher in that course. And so the course friendly names now will show in the course finder on the course card and in the task areas, so that the friendly name will kind of carry through the entire system when the friendly name is being changed from the course card. So there's that consistency instead of having your long course name that comes from your master schedule. You can now change that friendly name. You will see it, your students will see it, and it will carry throughout all the places within the system. We've also changed some of the colors for the course cards to kind of add some contrast and make those a little bit easier to see for accessibility standards. And again, here we'll show you that in the task pane, we now have a completed tasks section. So all of those tasks that students have to do in a course, they are now kind of broken up into due this week, next week, done but not corrected, so not graded. So we have a little more chunking, if you will, of the tasks for students to be able to see the difference. Before, if y'all remember, this was just one big long list. And so this way we have these tasks now chunked into completed. And if they're due, they would also be chunked into due. The more ones that are more recently due will be at the top. Hopefully that'll give our students a little bit easier way to kind of chunk what assignments are coming up and prioritize some things. One minor change to the 360 reports. In the 360 reports, if you'll remember, we have whether or not the student has read or not read an item. We felt that that verbiage was really kind of inconsistent since we can't really determine whether the student actually read it. So that verbiage has been changed to visited or not visited an item in the 360 reports to just give it a little more consistent verbiage there. All right, now we've had several releases with some pretty neat upgrades. And so you might not be familiar with everything that we've done over the last month or so. So we have on our YouTube channel, so if you go to YouTube and you just search for It's Learning, you will see the YouTube channel. That is our global YouTube channel. You scroll down just a little bit, you will see the playlist that's for the US. And this has all of our webinars, recorded webinars about the back to school features, about a little more information about the Google integrations and the 365 integrations. We have several different ones there that kind of take a little different viewpoint. So please check out our YouTube channel if you need some additional information on our back to school releases. And of course, if you have any ideas, we would love to hear from you. Please go to our idea portal. Please put your ideas in there, vote for other ideas. That is how our product team determines what our teachers would like to see in our releases. And those items do get put on our roadmap. So please go to our ideas portal and let us know what you think and what improvements you think that should be made to our products. Our product team does look at that and they do listen to those ideas. And of course, if you need any additional help or information, please contact one of your 3 project managers and we'll be more than happy to get you some additional information. All right, so do we have any questions, Kim? I didn't see the question pane, so I was wondering if you were keeping an eye on that for me.
I am, and I don't see any questions. We can wait a little bit and see if anybody has any to type in right now.
Sounds good.
I still don't see any, so I guess we'll end. So thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that. And thanks for all who attended today. Just a reminder that we'll follow up with an email recording of today's webinar and details about this release 2019, August 2019, with release notes. That will be tomorrow on Friday. So have a great afternoon. Actually, I'm seeing one question real quick. Maybe we can get that. Andrea, do you see them?
Give me 1 second. I think I do.
Okay. Let's see if we can get these questions answered before we jump off.
So the first question I see is friendly names, do they show up in the course merges? So the friendly name actually, if you would think about kind of like an email alias name, that's kind of the way the friendly names, the course friendly names work. So if you were to take a course and merge it into another course, then obviously that name would not carry over because that course then is going to have a group name, and it typically that group name comes from the section number out of master schedule. But the parent course, the ones that you are merging courses into, that friendly name would show up across So even for those other participants that were merged into that course, that friendly name would come across. So I hope that answers that question. The other question is, how do you see if a parent has accessed the student account? And I'm not sure that I understand that question. Because do you mean if the parent logs in as the student, or are you talking through the parent portal, under the parent portal? So if the parent logs in, you can actually see parent login data within the login reports within the system. So you can go to the admin tab and log in, and you can actually filter by parent. And then it will tell you the number of parents that logged in, but then you would have to have advanced reports activated within your system, and then you would be able to get specific individual parents that logged in and what days and times. So without the advanced reporting enabled, you could only see like a general how many parents, but not specific parents. Is there a way to allow teachers to access their class? So is there a way to allow teachers to access which class? Hold on, I'm sorry. Questions are popping in and then I'm losing my space. So give me 1 second. Let's see.
That's specifically the parents in
Yep.
class.
So is there a way to allow teachers to access the parents' class? If that is the question, then typically what I like to do is if your teachers are utilizing the lesson planner, even if they just pop in kind of resources and activities, the lesson planner has an anonymous link that you can send out, and parents can see whatever boxes in the lesson planner are set for everyone, and that kind of gives them a little peek into the class. Is there an option to set up access when parents are logging in? I'm not familiar with that. I'm sorry. I think the only ways that I know that parents can log in is through the parent portal, or if you send the anonymous link. This other one, I have made groups for messages so I can communicate with my class and can change the name, but for two, I can't. What could be the issue? I really would have to dig a little deeper into that. What I would suggest, if you have an issue where you can't change a name like that, one of the issues could be that the district doesn't allow you to, because there is a setting that says you can't change names for synchronized courses. And so even though we have the friendly name, the district still has to allow you the setting to do that. But if you can change some for some, but not for others, if they're all synchronized courses for master schedule, then I would say to go to our support.itslearning.com and submit a ticket. And that way we can kind of get a little more information from you and kind of and kind of dig in a little bit more. So we can help you that way. Let's see. Teachers want to see how often parents are checking the course. That is something that, again, the only way to see that is if you have advanced reports, and advanced reports can be given to different profiles, but that is a district level access. So otherwise, teachers would not be able to see how often parents are checking their parent portal.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.